Broadway musicals have seen huge success when transitioning from the stage to the screen, like Les Miserables, Tick Tick Boom, and Hamilton. But we've also gotten adaptations like Dear Evan Hansen and Cats, so there is that. Where does the new Netflix preteen movie 13 the Musical land? After his parents' divorce, Evan Goldman moves from New York City to small-town Indiana. As his 13th birthday nears, he must master the complex social circles of his new school and win friends by turning his bar mitzvah into the coolest party ever. Teeny bopper musicals are typically very cheesy and have a cringe factor that can get out of control, especially when we have people just randomly breaking out into singing and dancing. But then again, we also live in a world where Glee and High School the Musical, the series, exists, so it shouldn't be that shocking to watch a group of angsty kids work out their issues via song. 13 the Musical started out as a Broadway play titled 13, and this presentation certainly has a stage-like feel to a lot of the production. While the set pieces may be larger and even open air sometimes, the choreography and movements of the performers are unmistakably crafted for the stage. The characters do something a little different in this movie, though, that I don't think I've noticed in other recent musicals. The actors spike the camera, meaning that they look directly into the camera lens. This provides a semi-intimate effect, like the actors are singing to us individually, that each performance is made for us and nobody else. Now, while at times it may feel odd to have the character looking directly at us, it also creates a closeness that's engaging. Now, the singing is quite good, and the actors have some amazing voices. Now, I'm not sure of all the real ages of the characters, but because most of them are supposed to be semi-prepubescent, they have these higher pitched ranges that they then control to create awesome harmonies. I enjoyed some of the wit within the songs too, creating a good deal of self-awareness for some of the characters. Now, the melodies are also fairly catchy. Now, I don't think that they're at the level of being burned into your head immediately, but they didn't make me want to mute the whole thing either. But there was a point where the kids started singing this song where the main focus of the lyrics was OPP. Now, they're using it in a completely different context here, but as a Gen Xer, when I hear OPP, I only think of one thing. So this was confusing to my brain for just a moment. Now, if you don't have any idea what I'm talking about, go find a Gen X friend or a parent and have them explain it to you. Now, the story is pretty basic, and it's really predictable and obvious within the arcs. The looming conflict we can see coming a mile off, and then also know how it's going to be resolved. But really, that wasn't a weakness for me. I didn't mind the story being simple. I do think, though, that portions of character arcs are rushed in order to keep this at the 90-ish minute mark. Now, in an effort to move the story along quickly and find resolution, the lessons our main character Evan has to learn, they just don't feel earned. His progression feels somewhat cheap in order to just get everything wrapped up quickly. And that's especially obvious because of a huge decision that he makes, which then affects the character and those around him in a negative way. Now, the opportunity for learning and growth are there, but they're not explored for sake of the runtime. While this is mainly targeted at younger audiences, the cast does include some seasoned actors that aren't kids. We get to see Rhea Perlman, Deborah Messing, and Josh Peck. Now, each of them has an influence on the story, especially where Evan is concerned, but they don't have a ton of screen time, so they really aren't the major focus. Their performances are okay, but nothing special. Deborah Messing, though, does get to sing a song at one point, and I thought she could hold her own. I enjoyed the cinematography and the camera work within this. I love going to stage productions, but the thing that's always missing is that intimacy with the characters and the ability to see things like their facial expressions really clearly. When the camera moves around our performers in this, we get to see them from all different angles, zooming in to capture a wink or maybe a cool dance move before swinging around to capture another performer doing their thing. Now, there are points where the editing makes a song feel more like a music video than a scene within a film. But for the most part, the presentation keeps the energy high and then moving thanks to the cameras pushing in closely to our characters. I think if you're not into musicals, there's absolutely zero draw for you to check this out. But if you do enjoy them, you still need to endure the preteen angst of first loves and fitting in. So overall, 13 the Musical creates a fun and energetic watching experience, filled with some great singing and dance choreography. The young actors work with what they have for the script, which is pretty basic and predictable. The camera work is awesome, creating a sense of intimacy when called for, and then capturing large-scale, over-the-top numbers when the ensemble kicks in. I would have liked more of the character journey from our lead, giving us a chance to feel him learning his lessons. But the film forgoes that in order to provide a quickly paced storyline. There's no sex or nudity, a little bit of profanity, not really any violence. I give 13 the Musical 3 out of 5 couches. Now, this isn't a drop everything to binge movie, but if you need something lighthearted that can maybe get you tapping your toes, it is good for a casual watch. So are you a fan of musicals? What's a stage production that you'd like to see adapted for the screen? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.